Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something totally different than I normally do. We're gonna do gift ideas for operators. So really, if you wanna get technical, this isn't even geared at you guys. It's geared towards your families, your spouses, your loved ones to kind of give them some ideas of maybe gifts you might like. So that being said, point them at this video. If you are a spouse or a loved one, make sure you check the description down below. I actually have timestamps to all the gifts and what they are if you want to skip ahead and you don't want to hear me ramble on forever. That being said, let's get rolling on gift number one. Gift number one, hard hat stickers. Everybody loves hard hat stickers. It's a great way to differentiate yourself. Most guys have just a standard white hard hat that they were issued when they hired in at the company they're working for. Everybody likes having hard hat stickers, and they're cheap, they're easy, you can find them all over the place. They range anywhere from about 99 cents a sticker all the way up to you can buy packs of like 15 stickers for $6 or $7. So you've got a great variety that you can pull from. It's fun, it's some way to snazz up the helmet. I'll even link down below to my personal hard hat sticker for Diesel and Iron. Since you're watching my video, your loved one most likely watches my videos too. So I'll throw that on there. But hard hat stickers are a great, easy gift item, and it's, cheap. So it's something you can just throw out anytime. So that's gift number one. All right, gift number two is a little different. Most guys on the job don't think about this at all. Nitrile gloves. I use the snot out of these things when I operated. I used them every day when I would grease my machine. Before I discovered nitrile gloves, I was getting into the cab with grease on my hands. You use a rag to wipe it off, but you still smell like grease. You still have the residue that you're getting over all over the controls in the cab. It's just a pain in the butt. These nitrile gloves specifically, the Black Lightning brand, I don't think they've got these on Amazon anymore, but I will link a similar product in the description here. But these are actually made for automotive work. They're thicker than medical gloves, so they don't tear as easy. They do a fantastic job, and most operators, like I said, don't even think about these. I know I didn't for the longest time. So it's one of those gifts that you can pick up for like 16 bucks. It's pretty cheap. Once you explain to your guy why you bought them for him, he's going to thank you for it, and it's going to be a little game changer for him. So nitrile gloves, 15 bucks, gift number two. All right, gift number three, we are slowly ratcheting up in price. Gift number three is going to be the actual hard hat. Like I said in the hard hat stickers section, most guys only have the standard issue white hard hat or neon yellow hard hat. And to get a custom hard hat is just another way you can kind of add your own touch to something you're going to wear every day on the job. Especially if you've got a loved one that is an operator, not necessarily like an iron worker or someone that's really beating the crap out of their hard hat all day. To have one with some nice graphics on it is just a nice addition, and it's a nice thing to do. These will run anywhere from about $35 to you can get ridiculous custom dipped ones that are $150. You don't need to go that expensive. Most of the ones that have designs on them will run you from the $35 to about $55 to $60 range. So it's a pretty affordable gift. And like I said, it's just a nice way to kind of spruce it up. They do come with nicer webbing and suspension systems than your standard issue cheapy hard hat, so they will be more comfortable to wear. And it is a one size fits all. One of the things I like about this particular hard hat is it's got the ratchet to dial in the size. That's another feature that I really like. And again, it's not gonna break the bank to put some nice features on a hard hat. You're still gonna be right around that $55 mark. So there you go for the next gift in our repertoire. So the next item on our gift list is something that most people don't really put much thought into when they buy one, but I can tell you from being an operator, it will make a huge impact on the day-to-day in the cab. And that is your lunchbox. As you can see, this is not your standard size lunchbox. This is a honker of a lunchbox. And I can tell you, I made two mistakes when I went into the operating industry when it came to selecting a lunchbox. The first one was, I thought I was gonna get away with a regular standard size lunchbox. isn't going to happen. You're in the cab for anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day. Instead of just having one meal, you're typically eating 2 or 3 meals out of your lunch, plus some snacks because you're burning a lot of calories. You need a lot of space for food. Every operator will agree with me there. That was the first mistake. Second mistake when I upgraded to a bigger lunchbox was I thought it would be nice to have one of the hard-shelled ones like the old Playmate lunchboxes where it's hard shell and the top flips open. It was awesome, I thought. Turns out not so much. The problem with rigid lunchboxes is you can't tuck them down in the machine. No one makes a machine with a nice square area to put your lunchbox. It doesn't happen. I like the soft-sided one. This one's got kind of a flexible shell so that you can kind of mold it into an area where you want it to stay. I can wedge this between the door and the seat, or behind the seat, or anywhere I can find on the machine that I need to store my lunch. This one is way easier to kind of wedge into a spot where it's not shuffling around the cab while I'm trying to operate all day long. That being said, as much as I love this lunchbox, I am going to link to another one that if I were still operating, I would go buy in a heartbeat. The one I'm flashing on the screen right now is a backpack lunchbox combo. The reason I like this one so much, you have a nice big area for all of your cold storage, which, you know, everything in your lunch isn't going to have to stay cold all day. So you can put all of your cold stuff in the actual lunchbox storage area. You still have a ton of pockets for additional snacks, food, and then you take all of that space, you still have a pocket left over for rain gear. Every guy wants to have his rain gear on him because pop-up thunderstorms happen all the time. The worst thing ever is to get stuck outside without your rain gear in one. Now you actually can carry all of that stuff together. Your nitrile gloves that we talked about earlier can go in there. This is just a really, really nice feature to have all of this in one, and it's still soft like this lunchbox is, so you can mold it, stick it behind a seat somewhere. One final feature I really love about this backpack, it has a D-ring on it so that you could attach a carabiner to it and you could actually hang it somewhere in the cab. A lot of your open ROPS machines are really hard to stuff things where they're safely not going to fall out of the cab. To have that D-ring with the carabiner on it, I can clip that somewhere in the cab and know that I don't have to worry about that rolling out of the machine, you know, sometime during the day and getting rolled over. So it's $42. I think it's $40.99 or $41.99. So it's a really affordable gift. You're still under that $50 mark, and it would be a great, great addition for your operator. All right, so we're starting to move down the list. We're starting to get a little more expensive. We've now kind of crossed over that $50 mark, and unfortunately I don't have one in person to show you for this gift idea. It's a Bluetooth headset. Not just any Bluetooth headset though. It's the one that hangs around your neck, and I'm gonna flash a picture of the one that I've picked out. I actually did a ton of research on this before making this video. My old headset was by Motorola. It was called the Motorola Buds. I absolutely loved them. Unfortunately, they quit making them. So I did about an hour worth of research on this particular product because I did want to recommend something that met all of my personal criteria. And I've picked this particular model out. It's got great audio quality, so you can listen to your music or you can hear phone calls when they come in. It's also got great microphones on it so that you can have really clear conversation and the person on the other end of the phone can understand you. One of the biggest negative reviews I saw on so many of the headsets was the actual microphone quality. So there's a couple things that I really like about these around the neck headsets, and that's the reason I chose to recommend this versus like the iPhone or Apple earbuds. The earpods or whatever they're called, my problem there is that works for an office environment, but when you're running a piece of heavy equipment, to keep track of these two little earbuds is impossible. If one of them falls out of your ear while you're operating, there's a good chance it's either gonna fall out of the cab or it's gonna get stuck underneath your shoe and you crush it. It's just, you're asking for a disaster there. Not to mention you don't have that microphone right by your mouth, so it's really hard for people to hear you when you're running a piece of heavy equipment. The other thing I really like is the retractable earbuds. As soon as you're done with your conversation, you give them a little yank, let them go, they suck back up into the headset, and they're there and ready whenever you need them for your next conversation. This was really a game changer. It was one of my favorite purchases that I ever made for myself when I was an operator, just because when you're running a piece of equipment, you can't talk on the phone. You can't have that phone in your hands and operate at the same time. I was able to just one button on my neck, I would keep an earbud in every once in a while, one button on the neck, you'd answer your phone call, When you were done, hang it up, and you're operating the whole time. Both of your hands are free. And believe it or not, the microphone quality on these is good enough that I actually had people tell me multiple times they could hear me better through the headset than they could when I was talking into the phone with the microphone right next to my mouth. So it does a great job. I would encourage you, don't skimp on this one. I know that, so this one's $54.99, and there are cheaper options all over the place. You can get them for about 20 to 30 bucks. The problem with those is they sacrifice quality on the microphone and on the speakers. And those are two areas that I'm personally of the opinion, pay a little more up front, get something you really like and you enjoy that you don't hate for the life of the product, and you don't have to rebuy something because you hate this one so much. So again, I really highly recommend sticking with this model just because of the features that it has. So there's another gift idea, a Bluetooth headset. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention, the Bluetooth headset I have linked to is IPX4 rated, which means when you sweat in the cab, you don't have to worry about it. It's water resistant. If you're wearing it on your neck and you forget, which you always do because they're actually pretty comfortable, and you get caught in a rainstorm and you're hustling across the job to your car and you get in your car and go, oh crap, I left my headset on, you don't have to worry about it. It is IPX4 rated, it's good to go. So that's another great feature of the Bluetooth headset. Alright, so moving on, our next item is yet another item that is often overlooked. You don't really think about it, but it makes all the difference in the world, your water bottle. I have had this hydro flask for about 7 years, believe it or not, and it has been through hell and back. It has been kicked, it has been shoved off of machines as we're going 10 miles down, an hour down the road. It's fallen on concrete, asphalt, everything you can think of. It's got dents all over it. This thing's made of metal. It is a tank of water bottle, and it is actually vacuum sealed, so it does a fantastic job of keeping your water cold. As you can see, you actually get a lot of usable room in this thing. It's not all eaten up by the insulation like some of the competitors' brands. This holds 64 ounces of water, so you get a lot of water in this. That being said, I can fill this at 4 o'clock in the morning with ice water, and at 7 o'clock at night, I will still have ice in this water bottle. It will still give me an ice cream headache because it is so stinking cold. It does a fantastic job of keeping your water cold. And then in the wintertime, we actually switch its purpose. We put hot soup in this, and I can tell you right now, my wife will fill this with soup at 4:30 in the morning. 6 o'clock at night, I will still get burned by the soup. I have to tell her at 4 o'clock in the morning to put an ice cube in here with the soup, or else I won't be able to eat my soup that evening because it keeps it that warm. So that being said, this has been one of the nicest things to have when it comes to keeping cold water on the machine. It works way better than a milk jug filled with ice. It keeps it cold. This thing rolls off of machines onto the concrete, and I haven't lost my water for the day. It's still safe, it's still secure. This thing still hasn't lost its vacuum, even though it is dented all over the place. I highly recommend the Hydro Flask. $64.95 for this sucker. I can tell you though, after 7 years of using this, it's absolutely worth it. We still use this when we go hiking. We put our water in it. It is an absolutely fantastic water bottle. So another gift, the Hydro Flask. Alright, so the next item we've got may seem a little redundant after we talked about our Bluetooth headset. It's a Bluetooth speaker. I'm a little bit of a princess, and I know I'm not alone because most laborers will agree that operators are princesses. I'm not a fan of keeping earbuds in my ear all day. It tends to irritate them, it hurts, and so what I prefer is to listen to music on the radio if the machine has one, and then I take my calls on my headset. Unfortunately, we still have a lot of machines out there that don't have radios. When I started, I was running an off-road dump truck for 16 hours a day with no radio whatsoever. After an hour, I was going crazy because I was bored out of my mind. So one of the first things I went and bought is a Bluetooth speaker. I will say I'm not linking to this one down in the description. I've actually picked out another one because this is more of an indoor model. It's not made for being kicked and thrown around like it's going to be when you're running a machine. That's number one. Number two is the sound volume out of this guy just isn't what comes out of the one I've linked to. So the one I've linked to is by JBL, which if you know anything about audio, is a fantastic company. They put out really quality products. It's got really nice bass. It's got some punchy highs, so you get a really good sound quality out of the speaker. At the same time, it's also IPX4 rated, which means that it's not waterproof, but it's pretty stinking water resistant. In other words, if you're running an open cab machine, a rainstorm blows in, you don't have to worry about the speaker. You know, if it's in your lunchbox and it gets wet because of the condensation of your cold stuff, you don't have to worry about it. It's made for that type of environment. So all that being said, I absolutely recommend a Bluetooth speaker for your loved one. It can really improve the mood in the cab if they don't have music available to them already. And the other nice thing is you can double it up and use it at home. When we eat out on the back porch or we have people over by the fire, we always pull the Bluetooth speaker out. It's an impromptu stereo setup. It's completely wireless. It's a fantastic gift to have. So now we're right at that $100 mark. You're at $99.95 for the speaker. But again, it's a really nice thing to have as far as a creature comfort for the cab. So coming down the finish line on our gift ideas, the next one is more of, actually the next two are gonna be more fun gift ideas because let's face it, gift ideas shouldn't always be functional. So number one on the fun list, die-cast models. So when I stopped operating, I got into selling heavy equipment and I wanted to get some of the pieces that I was selling so that I could decorate my office with them. That has turned into, I'd actually really like to eventually get die-cast models of all of the different pieces of equipment I've run through my career. So I know I'm not alone here when I say that that's a fairly common thing in the industry because we all got into it because we love equipment. Die-cast models are awesome. These aren't toys. I have to tell my kids that all the time. They are made of metal. These are really, pretty hefty little units. They do move, so you can position them in different ways on your desk or on, in your truck or in your shop or wherever you want to have them. But they are cool little display pieces to have, and I really enjoy them. So that being said, I've got a link down below where we have a ton of different models available for die-cast models. If you have a hard time finding one or you don't know specifically what something is, absolutely feel free to comment down below or shoot me a message personally. I'd have no problem helping you locate one for your loved one depending on what kind of machine they're running. So the next one on our list, die-cast models. So item number 9, this is another fun gift. It's not meant to be just function, it's an action cam. This is a Sony action cam. I got this about 3 years ago. I've really enjoyed it. I've gotten a lot of cool shots with it. That being said, I'm actually gonna link to the GoPro Hero 7. I think it's just functionally, it's a little nicer than the Sony. It takes a better quality image and it also has better quality audio. But action cams, if you wanna get into recording yourself, whether your guy wants to share his experiences with just family or he's thought about dabbling in the YouTube space, kind of like my channel, it all starts with an action cam. I actually couple this with a little bonus gift. This runs about $25. It's a suction cup mount, and you can suck this thing onto a side of a machine. It will not go anywhere. This is such a great suction cup mount. I have total confidence putting a $200 camera, which by the way, one of these cameras, the GoPro Hero 7 runs about $200. That comes with a 32 gig memory card, which is worth about 4 hours of video recording. So it's a nice start to get your guy recording video if he's interested in that. But going back to the suction cup mount, you can find cheaper ones, but again, I have no problem putting a $200 camera on the end of this outside the cab of a machine, right over the track of a dozer, wherever, a dangerous spot. It's not going anywhere. This is a fantastic mount. It's the Gecko suction cup mount. I can't recommend this enough. But the action cam is just, it's a fun way to kind of do something outside of your normal day-to-day operating, and it's a nice way to share things. It's also great for doing other stuff outdoors. I mean, this is a waterproof case I've got on this. You can take it jet skiing, scuba diving, you can go out hunting with it, you can record anything and everything under the sun. These are actually a lot of fun once you start playing with them. So, final fun item on the list, an action cam. And we finally made it to our final gift idea for your operator. This one is, I'm just gonna warn you, spendy. And I apologize, but at the same time, I can tell you, I purchased this for myself. I would never I never look back on that decision negatively. I would purchase it again 100 times over because it is that valuable of a tool. It's an electric grease gun. This is an absolute life changer for someone who has greased a ton of machines by hand with a hand pump gun. It sucks. The first time I walked up to a paddle wheel scraper and realized the thing had about 50 grease fittings and each one takes between 50 and 15 pumps each, that makes for a miserable morning. It took me over an hour to grease that one machine that morning. It would take me probably 15 to 20 minutes to grease a backhoe with a hand pump gun. With this electric grease gun, it would take me probably 15 to 20 minutes to grease the paddle wheel scraper. It takes me about 5 minutes to grease a backhoe. It is so fast, and I can feel my arms afterwards. So this is an absolute game changer. It's expensive. This is $329 for the set. That's with a gun, 2 batteries, a charger, and a case. So that being said, you are getting a lot for that money. This has got some great features on it as well. So most of the time you're out greasing your machine at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning before there's light, before the sun's out. This has got an LED light in the front that you can push a button here and turn on. And it's got a 3-foot long whip so that you can actually put your whip on the grease fitting. You still have plenty of room to move this thing around and situate it to where you can get the light where you need it. Another great feature, you've got the lock here so you can't accidentally grease yourself while it's in the trunk of your car. You've also got, this is my favorite part, a grease counter. So I can rotate this dial over to however many pumps of grease I want to go in the machine. I just hook it up to the grease fitting, I pull the trigger and hold it down, and I don't have to keep count, I don't have to pay attention. I just wait for this thing to stop pumping and I know that amount of grease has gone into that fitting. Fantastic feature. This also has a 2-speed transmission, which you can change right here. I have, for 99% of this thing's life, greased in the number 2 position, which just throws grease out like nobody's business. That being said, if you have a grease fitting that gets plugged, this thing can kick over into first gear, and I don't remember what the PSI output is. It's ungodly. I've unclogged a dozen fittings with this gun that I wouldn't have been able to touch with a hand pump gun. And so that is one less call to a mechanic to come change the fitting out if I'm working for a big company, or if you're an owner operator, that's one less trip to the truck to go get your wrench out and change a Zerk fitting out before you can even get rolling for the day. So this is a great, great tool to have. One last feature that I really love about this gun is on the battery, you have a battery level indicator. So I can push the button here. You have 4 LEDs that will light up and tell you exactly where you're at on the battery life, which is fantastic because nothing sucks more than having this thing die in the middle of greasing a machine. So that's a really nice feature. You also have the ability to gauge how much grease you have in the tube. You've got markings on your push rod here that makes it really easy to figure out whether or not you're going to need to bring a second tube of grease with you before you leave the truck to go over to your piece of equipment. So again, spendy, 100% worth it. This is such a nice thing to have, but it's also spendy enough that most of your operators aren't going to necessarily go buy one for themselves. This is a gift that I would recommend, go in as a family for Christmas or for a birthday or something and kind of everyone pitch in. Your guy will absolutely love you for it. It's such a fantastic item to have. So this is our final item, an electric grease gun. Check below for the description. That being said, if I've missed anything, if I have, some obvious ideas that I totally left out on this video and you're an operator and you're going, dude, come on. By all means, put them down in the comments below. Let's do another video because we are guys, we're hard to shop for. Let's help the spouses and the families out with some more gift ideas. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.